San Antonio Spurs basketball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. By Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. By Progressive, making insurance better. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by your Texas Ford dealers, Ford is the best in Texas. In Atlanta, Georgia, tonight, the Spurs on the back end of a back-to-back as Greg Popovich saw his club win a thriller last night, 107-106 over the Golden State Warriors. And after a lot of discussion, decided lineup-wise that it's time for Manu Ginobili to play, but Tim Duncan will sit. As a result, Drew Gooden will get the start tonight, along with Matt Bonner and Michael Finley, as Gooden his first start as a Spur in our Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Roger Mason Jr. had the game winner last night, and Tony Parker, who had yet another 30-point game in the Spurs win. Mike Woodson is a great example of patience and how it can be honored in the NBA. As you see, Woodson's record, 148 and 251. They've gotten better every year that he's been here. And Southwest Airlines, Josh Smith with the starting lineup, Al Horford, Mo Evans, the former University of Texas standout, along with the All-Star Joe Johnson and the veteran Mike Bibby, who averages at 15 points a ball game and also 5 assists per contest. And our Miller game plan tonight, how about it, Sean, against these Hawks who've won 8 straight here at Phillips Arena?
Well, I was going to say something about Bibby and controlling the Arizona guys. You know how these guys play at this time of year, but I'm just going to say control the athletes. Got an athletic, talented ball club, wants to get it going in the open court. Obviously, you need contributions from everyone. No Tim Duncan. Manu Ginobili's going to play limited minutes. And I need to explain the last one. If anybody gets hurt this late in the season, it's a major blow.
Bob Delaney with a toss, and it goes deep, and the Spurs come up with it. Spurs beat Atlanta earlier this season, 95-89, back on December 10th in San Antonio. Manu Ginobili had 27 in that game. Roger Mason Jr. picking up where he left off as Roger hits the first bucket here tonight, and the Spurs jump out 2-0. Mason getting his 5th game winner of the season with a 24-point performance and the 2-point shot last night in the final seconds against the Warriors. Johnson counters, won't go. Good in the rebound.
Joe Johnson is hurt. Must have turned his ankle or something. Down there still in the backcourt.
Spurs can't take advantage of the 5-on-4. Johnson is walking it off right now as Mike Woodson is asking him, "Are you okay?" And Johnson, last touch by Roger Mason Jr.
He was grimacing until he caught the basketball. He's getting ready to go one-on-one again.
And Atlanta takes a timeout. Yeah, was he duping everybody? Right. We'll see. They'll have a chance to talk it over, take a look at him, but he's obviously in some pain. Let's see what happened here.
Yeah, how about that? Turning your ankle, first play of the ball game, goes down immediately. And he stayed down on the floor. It was 5-on-4, like you said, Spurs unable to take advantage, but you hate to see that happen to anybody, especially this late in the season.
Don't know if you caught the pregame interview with Roger Mason, but humble as usual and kind of like, yeah, they drew it up. I was the second option last night and made a shot.
Well, I would guess that Tony Parker cutting off would be the first option. Tim Duncan obviously can make something happen, but this guy has been doing it all year long. And that's a good call, if you ask me. And what a way to open up the ball game as well. You come out here, you set 2 screens for him immediately. He knocks down the first shot of the game.
Speaking of going down, Bibby goes down on the inbounds, and there's a 5-second count. So, Atlanta, you have one guy turn an ankle, missing a layup. Then you get it back and call a 20-second timeout. Bibby falls down, and you get a 5-second count. So, certainly not what the Hawks were hoping for on this start.
No, and I tell you one thing, though, what the Spurs do have going for them tonight is you have a young ball club in the Atlanta Hawks. They could become a little overconfident, not seeing Tim Duncan over there. They know Manu Ginobili's just coming back and may take the Spurs team for granted.
Here is Smith, nearly lost it, had one-on-one with Bonner. Spurs try to help out, and foul is called on Tony Parker with the bump.
Tony Parker is first. Team first.
You know, I walked in here tonight, and you see what appears to be, those are bags that hang out. They used to have those here so you didn't have to watch, right?
Yeah, you could put them over your head.
Was this an old promotion that just didn't get thrown out when this team got a whole bunch better?
You tell me. I mean, you have an exciting team, and you just figure that it would be a different atmosphere. But no, it's the same here. I was expecting to see a full arena.
Yeah, the fans at 13,000 for their win against Minnesota. Bibby with a miss here. And the people got turned on in that playoff series last year when they took Boston to the max. And then the team has responded. Last year, they won 37 games to get that number 8 seed. They're already at 42 wins here. Drew Gooden. I'm looking forward to see Drew Gooden and hopefully get significant minutes
Getting
tonight.
20 to 30-plus minutes tonight would be really nice, and especially throwing post moves in a low block like that one, just taking it right at Al Horford, who's a pretty good defender. Smith
Trying to overpower Bonner, then fades away. Finley with a rebound to Roger Mason. Now to Tony Parker with Bibby on him. Parker off the iron, the rebound to Johnson. Johnson averaging 21.6 a game, better than 4 rebounds and 5.9 assists to lead him in that category as well as scoring. Misses. Gooden had it slapped away. Atlanta's missed their first 5. Finally, Drew claims it and gives to Finley.
Tell you what, Drew Gooden could be in for a good night. He's going to be asked to really control the glass and score the basketball.
Oh, nearly, literally threw it in as soon as he felt the impact, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Now that's sacrificing your body right there. I mean, he almost eats the court. He's trying to show some focus. There's no justice. Otherwise, that ball falls.
And he's going against Al Horford, 6'10", 245, second-year player out of Florida. I know one thing, Sean. That guy, his rookie year last year, averaged 10 points, 9.7 boards, as Tim looks on tonight. And there's some guys that rebound that you know are going to rebound at any level.
Yes.
Horford is one of those.
Yes, he is. He's a terrific rebounder. There's no question about it. But he's had, if I'm not mistaken, a couple 20-rebound games this year.
Yeah, Horford this year averaged 11.6 and leads him in rebounds at 9.2. Gooden hitting the free throws, and the Spurs off to a 6-0 start. 8:53 to go first quarter. Smith on the drive. Got his own. Gives to Mo Evans. Evans can be dangerous, and he hits the 3. Mo Evans, their leading three-point shooter at 40.5 from the arc. That is his 86th make from three-point land this season.
He gets a little home court bounce there.
Mo averaging just under 7 points a game and 3 boards. Had 10 in the Minnesota victory. Parker to Finley. Finn for 3. Straight on, count it.
You know, Tony loves that play just as much as Michael does. Michael gets the 3 ball, Tony gets the assist. Everybody's happy.
The other way, Johnson counters. It's a 9-5 ball game as Parker brings it back quickly for the Spurs at the 8-minute mark now.
Now, when you watch Joe Johnson play, he's not a guy who plays above the rim. He's not going to get to the hole and slam the ball over the top of you. But he's so adept at finishing around the basket. He's a terrific shooter as well. Saying he's the least athletic of all the superstars in this league, but he can still put it to you.
Michael Finley putting it off the bounce this time. Finn makes it 11-5 ball game. His average at 9.5 a game. 5 against the Warriors last night. Joe Johnson to Smith. Bonner wrestling for the rebound. Saves it, or the loose one, I should say. Finley to Parker. Great hustle by Matt. Tony Parker in the paint. Dumps it off. Bonner. The baseline jumper, and the Spurs start off 5 of 7 from the floor, and they lead it by 8.
Yeah, if your dog's protecting your yard, you got to throw him a bone. Matt Bonner doing a terrific job playing defense. Tony Parker comes down and rewards him with a wide open look along the baseline.
Bibby hits the jumper. You calling Matt Bonner a dog?
Something like that.
Oh, okay.
In a good way.
Just checking. Yeah. Just check. What
He'd be a sheepdog.
Parker with it here with 6:43 to go in the first quarter. Tony glances up. 9 on the clock. Kick out. Finley again. And the three by Michael Finley. And you can tell, shooting with great confidence once again. Finn, 5 points against Golden State, but in the Houston game on Sunday, he only took 1 shot in his 20-plus minutes.
Well, that was Mike Bibby that time, was just buried too low, got out too late in the rotation, or, as you like to say, just in time.
Oh, speaking of timing, wow.
Now, he really did look like he jumped off the trampoline.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we joke about that, but he was way above the rim.
And it makes it 16-9, and that gets a timeout from the head coach. Anytime you have a defensive lapse, he's not admiring that dunk. But Finley's off to a hot start.
Tony Parker up to his old trick, sucks in that defense, and there you see my Arizona guy a little late on the rotation.
Spurs fans are here and being heard tonight here in Atlanta. There's good seats still available if you're watching on the dish and coming down here. Hey, there are big reasons to purchase season tickets for next year. The Spurs going all out to take care of you in these tough economic times. There's a price freeze on tickets. You also have guaranteed playoff seats for this year and a 12-month payment plan. Season tickets start at just $440 per seat, and a 10% deposit will secure your seats tonight. Purchase by April 15th and receive exclusive gifts. Spurs reps standing by. Give them a call, 444-5050 right now to purchase your season tickets for next year. And let's take a look at what's going on tonight from Michael Finley and crew.
I don't know if the Atlanta Hawks read the scouting report, but Michael Finley can shoot the basketball. Hits that first 3 ball, then beautiful ball fake taking Mike Bibby off the dribble. And then once again, you look at the rotation is late. And the rotation on Michael Finley's jumper is absolutely perfect.
And Finn with 8 of the Spurs' 16. Evans is on him, and Parker gets it back with Joe Johnson. And now the pick and roll with Drew Gooden. Tony inside the arc, drops it down. Tony Parker got that average at 21.6. And Tony has just been up to the challenge with all the injuries that the Spurs have had with Manu and with Tim in and out and nagging injuries. He has been the consistent guy. Horford the other way. It's at 18-11.
Oh, there's no question that Tony's been the most consistent player this year. I mean, missed a couple weeks there with that turned ankle, but really picked up where he left off as soon as he got back.
Parker kicks to Finley. Michael, no hesitation, just does rim this one.
That's okay. Michael Finley has the green light tonight. I mean, that light is ultraviolet. I mean, he's got to continue to shoot the basketball. If he passes up wide open shots tonight, Pop will be furious.
And Bibby knocks this one down. Makes it 18-13. Tony Parker pawing away at the defense again. Bibby with 4. And Tony just short rebound to Horford. Manu Ginobili, you see, waiting at the scorer's table to check in for the Spurs. Underneath, here comes Tony out of that mess with it. Ime Udoka to his left. Tony, oh, what a move. And Joe Johnson, who is one heck of an athlete, was like, what happened?
Oh, we saw it last night, and you see it lots of times with Tony Parker. Guys are trying to react to his quickness, and lots of times they overreact. Tony Parker, with those short bursts, he can start and stop as well as anybody in this league. And when he slows down, lots of times people keep going.
And the turnover gives it back as Josh Smith ran into his own man. Here comes Manu Ginobili for the Spurs, as Manu has missed 19 games with that ankle injury. The Spurs went 11-8 while he was out. And the amazing thing was, right before the All-Star break, his last game was at Toronto. We had 32.7 rebounds and 4 assists, and was absolutely playing his best basketball of the year. And you can imagine how anxious he is to get back on the floor. Parker with the miss, and Evans picks it up. Kurt Thomas also checking in for the Spurs. Smith, oh, he missed the dunk from a guy who never misses a dunk.
A guy who doesn't need the trampoline.
As he shows you here, coming back in disgust, and it's a goaltending. Wow.
And then he eats it. The first a missed dunk, and let me tell you, this hurts. Oh. You might wake up with a sore shoulder in the morning, but he comes back. You could tell he's angry, and he's flying down the court.
Let's go, Hawks!
Goaltend there, and then bites the court on top of it.
And timeout, as Mike Woodson just doesn't like the feel of this one, and neither does Josh Smith.
No, his group isn't focused, and that's what we talked about at the very beginning here. No Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili with limited minutes. The Hawks right now are not ready to play, and the Spurs are taking advantage.
Josh taking a nap in your living room. We'll be back. Welcome back, Spurs fans excited here in Atlanta to see Manu Ginobili, even though Tim Duncan is sidelined. And that's part of our Cadillac Pursuit of Excellence as we go back to February 21st of 2007, and Manu, a season-high 40 here against the Hawks, an amazing 24 in a row in the first half as the Spurs beat the Hawks 103-96. Manu hit 6 straight field goals in all 7 free throws, was 8 of 9 from the floor during that stretch. As what a night from Manu Ginobili. You know that you don't have to remind him that that happened here, do you?
Oh, no. I mean,
you guys remember big nights, don't you?
Of course you do. There's no question. And you remember big nights in certain buildings, and you have that same kind of feeling when you come back. There were lots of places where I like to play where you looked at the rim and just for some reason it looked bigger than other places you played.
And for the Hawks, Murray, who had 30 in their win against Minnesota, has it here just coming to the game. And Zaza Pachulia, one of the great names in the league and a pretty steady big man, enters as well. Then Murray gets the bucket on his first possession.
That's his job. He wants to come in and score immediately.
Murray's averaging 11.6 a game. Plays 23 minutes a night. Tony back out to Ime Udoka. Just short on the jumper. Pachulia comes off for the rebound. Spurs have hit 9 of 15 for 60%. The Hawks 7 of 15, 47% tonight. Johnson against Udoka. Bonner comes to double.
Great double team by Matt Bonner, forcing Joe Johnson for the sideline.
Unfortunately, Flip Murray knocks down the jumper to make it 22-17.
Well, his last ball game, he scored 30. He's trying to go for back-to-back 30-point nights, apparently.
Here is Parker with it for the Spurs. 2:33 to go, first quarter. Tony with a layup and in either way as Horford blocked it on the way down, and the ball went through anyway. And Tony Parker now a couple of buckets.
Just abused the big man on the perimeter, and easy call there. I believe that ball hit the glass before it was blocked.
Parker with 8. Here is Murray. Manu dogging him. Murray again. Well, Flip Murray, the last 3 games, he has averaged 24 points and shot 54%. He went for 19 against Dallas, 22 against Cleveland, and then 30 against the T-Wolves.
That's a confident shot, just like this one.
Bonner, just a bit long.
No, that was good.
24-19. Joe Johnson. Johnson gets it to go. Hawks come within 3 now as Johnson has got 4. Murray in 2 minutes is already their leading scorer with 3 of 3 off the bench.
Well, they've gotten a couple shots to fall for him. Oh, look at that footwork.
Oh, Zaza! Pick up your Pachulias.
That's right.
Oh, my. Tony, just, he doesn't discriminate, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Big,
it doesn't
small,
matter.
quick.
He loves to pick on him. Like Dominique told me before the game, Tony Parker has big man footwork, and he does. I mean, he's got footwork like Tim Duncan in the paint.
Horford with a miss. Kurt Thomas gives to Tony Parker. Tony 5 of 8 from the floor, 10 points here in this first quarter. We're inside a minute to go.
Oh, he's got Pachulia on him again. You know, the big fella right now is having a nightmare. Look at him. He's calling for help early.
Manu with a miss. Rebound off to Horford. Now out to Bibby. Parker nearly had the steal. Last touch going to go back to the Hawks.
Josh Smith.
Roger Mason Jr. comes in for Tony Parker, who's saying, hey, Pop, I'm not through with my conversation here with Gary Zielinski. He thought he got a little elbow as he initiated that play from Bibby. Bibby on the kick. Smith, fouled by Matt Bonner.
Good foul there.
He'll go to the line, 29.7 on the clock here in the first quarter. They play Lotto Texas for a chance to win a jackpot as big as the Lone Star State. Right now, the estimated annuitized jackpot is $6 million. So play Lotto Texas today. Maybe it's your lucky day. Atlanta going to the line for the first time tonight here. Hawks on the year are shooting 73. Off to New Orleans for Sunday. It's these one game out, one game back that are a bigger killer than the longer road trips, aren't they?
Bill, you remember last night? Because I barely do. I mean, when we got in, all I remember is the trip from the airport to the hotel took like 30 seconds. And I woke up and I asked, why aren't we moving? And you said we were here already. I mean, everybody was exhausted at the end of that plane flight last night. And now you got to come out and play an earlier game than normal and you lose an hour. It's just one of those things where you have to ask the league, or you just say, why do you do this to your players this late in the season? It wears people down unnecessarily. And I'm exhausted. I didn't play a minute last night.
Well, and we know that there's no perfect answer to scheduling. You got to play 82 games in about 6 months. But the going from one time zone to an Eastern time zone back to back, you think they could fix that a little bit. Murray in the paint. Manu knocked it away. Shot clock expires. So Spurs a nice defensive set there, and as a result, they'll get it back with 3.9 on the clock.
Oh, plenty of time.
Michael Finley will come back. Mike Woodson, all he's done is take this team from 13 wins in his first year to 26. He doubled them. Then 30. Last year, 37. Remember we were down a couple years ago and everybody wanted to get rid of him?
Yeah, that's right.
He's just,
how about that? A terrific playoff series last year. The team continues to improve. The thing is, people don't have patience for youth. Everybody gets all these young players, exciting players, and the guys are slamming, playing above the rim, and they expect that to somehow translate into wins, and it doesn't. You've got to wait for these young ball clubs to mature and come together, and that's exactly what's happening here. Mario
West comes in to defend. Here is Manu with 4 seconds. Trying to slip it off to Finley, and a foul call as the Hawks have one to give, and it's on Flip Murray. Spurs now get it with 2.2. And Michael Finley, it looks like, is going to inbound again. Ime Udoka, Kurt Thomas, Manu Ginobili, and Roger Mason Jr. on the floor. Manu to the hole. Count it! Oh, my! Kurt Thomas to Manu Ginobili, and the layup beats the buzzer.
Just a misdirection play. Manu Ginobili stepping out the top of the key. Kurt Thomas Terrific cut, back door. Manu Ginobili, there's that. Kurt Thomas is going to step up. Manu Ginobili's going to get the little screen going backwards, or just the move going backwards. Kurt Thomas drops it off. And terrific play calling there. And Manu Ginobili gets an easy one. How about that one for your first basket back?
Hawks thought just like I did. Oh, decoy. He's going out. Well, we don't want to give him the three. And then a half second later, whoops. Well, the Spurs, an impressive first quarter without Tim Duncan, but Manu back gets the final bucket of the period. And the Spurs lead at 28-22 here in Atlanta. You're watching it on Fox Sports Southwest. Spurs basketball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. By Whataburger, just like you like it. By your Texas Ford dealers, Ford is the best in Texas. And by Corona and Corona Light, official sponsors of the Timeout. Relax responsibly. Welcome back. Second quarter just underway. 9 seconds in, and a foul on Manu Ginobili stops play as the Hawks will put it back in play, trailing 28-22. Bill Land, Sean Elliott with you here at Phillips Arena. Spurs up by a half dozen to start the second quarter. Josh Smith kicks it out. Murray, a miss, and Manu up for the rebound. The Hawks started the game 0 of 6 and then hit 10 of their next 14. Roger Mason Jr. short. Gooden taps it. Thomas scoops it up.
Great effort there by Drew Gooden. Staying in that play, keeping that ball alive, giving the Spurs another opportunity.
Gooden with it here. Called a timeout as he was falling out of bounds, and the Spurs will take a 20-second timeout here. Spurs with 11:18 to go in this first half. A quick timeout as we get around Pop. Hey, fans, want to know what it's like to watch Spurs at courtside? Well, text VIP to 50927 from your AT&T wireless phone to enter for a chance to win 4 courtside seats and more to an upcoming Spurs game. Be a part of the AT&T Center experience and text VIP to 50927. Standard rates apply. Spurs starting the second quarter with Bruce Bowen, Gooden, Thomas, Ginobili, and Roger Mason Jr.
Well, now you kind of see what the bench lineup will be like when you throw Manu Ginobili out there with Roger Mason and Drew Gooden. I mean, you're going to have a bench that can score, and it's dangerous, and there's not going to be a noticeable drop-off when you have Tony Parker or Tim Duncan go to the bench.
Yeah, and that is, as you talk about getting ready for the playoffs, and the Spurs coming in here tonight at 46-24, counting this one with 12 games to go. That's, as a coaching staff, what they're looking forward to, is right, getting everybody in the roles that they want to have them with the best combinations for whomever they're going against.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd like to have more games with Manu Ginobili, but you take what you can get right now. And Manu is a special type of athlete, a special type of person, where he's not going to need a whole lot of time to get ready.
But Julia with the bucket there, and 28-24. Now they're going to wait a minute while Josh Smith takes care of his shoe, or are they? Bob Delaney's not waiting, and Bruce Bowen inbounds to Manu. Hawks nearly steal it. Manu with it here. Low Evans guarding him. Ginobili all the way to the hole. Can't quite finish. Rebound to Thomas. Now to Bruce Bowen. Gooden.
Everybody's in a little bit of a rush right now. Settle down, set a couple screens, run some offense, get something easy.
Drew Gooden just rims it. Mario West comes off with the rebound. West, 6'5", 210, second-year player from here in Atlanta out of Georgia Tech. Coast to coast, flip Murray. Murray continues his great play off the bench. Murray now with 8 on 4 of 6 shooting.
Bruce got picked from behind. There were 2 or 3 people in the way there. I believe he got picked off by a Hawks player and Drew Gooden. Both those guys trying to jockey for position. Bruce gets knocked off, and Flip Murray goes all the way to the basket. There it is.
And as a result, the Hawks right back in it here, 28-26, Spurs by 2. Spurs looking for their first points here in the second quarter, seen their lead trimmed to just 2. Beginning April 11th, Fox Saturday Baseball returns to bring you a full season of the game's greatest matchups like Red Sox, Yankees, Cardinals, Cubs, Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, Giants. You got it. It'll be coming your direction. Catch all the excitement of Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. That starts April 11th only on Fox. Spurs shooting 52% now, 12 of 23 after missing their first 3 of the second quarter. Hawks at 52%, also 12 of 23. They've made 2 of their first 3 to start this period. Ginobili laying it off for Kurt Thomas, and Kurt knocks it down. Manu returning the favor after Thomas had set him up for that layup to end the first quarter.
And just in case you've forgotten, Manu Ginobili, like another point guard out there, another creator, the ability to get shots for other players, make the game easier for his teammates.
Exactly, as Kurt comes up with a steal from Zaza. That's exactly what Roger Mason said in the pregame interview, and he's bumped here as a foul. He said, all right, you've been playing some backup point. What's it going to be like when Manu's back? Just a big grin on his face. Yeah. It's easier. Yeah. Everything's easier.
Absolutely. It makes it so much easier. He's going to penetrate, and when Manu's on top of his game, it's just the same way when Tony Parker's out there. The defense is focused on stopping him because he's a guy who can consistently get to the basket and apply pressure to your defense.
Evans called for that foul. Manu comes out after his first stint back here after missing 19 games. Drew Gooden gives to Michael Finley. Finn, pull up, just rattles out, and comes off to Zaza Pachulia. Pachulia averaging 6 points, 5 boards a game. Murray feeling it. Bruce Bowen got tripped up trying to come out to defend, and Murray makes him pay with the 3. He's shooting 37% from the arc. He's a career 28% three-point shooter.
Yeah, he's got a certain swagger about him right now, too. The way he let go of that basketball, you knew it was good. As soon as it comes out of his fingers and he steps up and starts playing some D, but unfortunately for him, Roger Mason goes right to the basket.
Mason with that high layup off the glass, and Rogers got 4. Murray with 11 to lead all scorers. And they convert here as well. Flip Murray again from Josh Smith.
Now, Bruce Bowen went over the top of that screen, and when he does that, he's automatically behind Flip Murray. Murray beats him to the basket. It's a foot race. They just throw it up there to him.
32-31. Mason back to Thomas. Inside, Drew Gooden. His own. Get in there, and it does.
Terrific second effort again by Drew Gooden. Just showing some athletic ability, some energy in the paint.
6 points, 4 rebounds for Gooden in his 12 minutes of work so far. Hit the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. Spurs by 3. Murray. Josh Smith. And a muscle rebound by Kurt Thomas, and coming over the back was Zaza Pachulia.
A solid defense there by Drew Gooden. Doesn't go for the ball fakes of Josh Smith. Smith is upset right now that he didn't get a foul call, but he didn't earn it. And what about Kurt Thomas? Using that big body to hold off Pachulia, come down with that board. Right now you have 2 big guys who are doing a tremendous job in the paint. Like I said, we talked about it in the open last night. You know, do we have to keep talking people away from the ledge? You can't get worried so much because this team's gone through a little bit of a mini slump when you don't have Manu Ginobili out there. Timmy hasn't been Timmy for a couple weeks. He's been nursing those knees. Pop is trying to conserve his minutes. But you can see what this team is going to be made of if you just take your time, you don't panic, you look out there, see what this team has, and once they come together come playoff time, this team is going to be a monster.
Ime went off without the ball, and now the other way it is West, and Hawk player down in the backcourt with a foul called, and Josh Smith. He's had a rough start to this game tonight as Murray comes back to help him up.
He's all beat up. I tell you what's bruised worse is his ego. Missing that dunk early, but it happens to the best of us. We've all been there. We've all missed dunks. We've all missed layups.
Well, you have. Be careful when you say us, okay? Smith's average of 15 points, 7 boards, leads him in blocks and steals as well. Here's Joe Johnson, and Johnson, quick hitter inside, pulls him back within one. We're talking about people on the ledge. Pop was worried that Manu was going to go out on the ledge if he didn't start playing pretty soon. That's why he took him on that road trip to Houston and Oklahoma City.
He's got to expend some energy.
On the drive, Murray kick out to Johnson. And a foul inside on the Spurs. It'll be on Drew Gooden.
Well, you can see Drew there saying, "I just put my hands up." Joe Johnson brings the ball to me. There he is. His hands are up. Well, his mistake is he kind of leaves the ground there. If he keeps his feet, then his argument is a lot more valid.
We found out the problem on that, the blood on the floor, was Bibby took a shot to the forehead and received some stitches. And he is going to return, we're told now. So Mike Bibby, didn't see when that happened, but good news is he is all right and he's going to come back.
Arizona guy, we bleed red.
Well, of course. And tough, returning, right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, you take care of all your Arizona cred here in a matter of a quarter and a half.
They're in the Sweet 16. Going to knock off Louisville on Friday. We all know that.
Roger Mesa Jr. fouled on the jumper, and he will get a couple.
Now, Roger quietly has been going to work here.
Flip Murray arguing the call. Bob Delaney, who talked about it last year, the book that he wrote on his days as an undercover state police, where he put some of the mafia way up New Jersey. You just have to chuckle anytime any player argues. Now Murray's not going off on him, but when players get serious about it, you're going, do you know who you're talking to?
Exactly. I don't think they do. I would bet that 90% of the guys in the league have no idea. Haven't heard the story, don't know.
Absolute terrific book.
Came over us after we were laughing. He was inbounding the ball, and Josh Smith was trying to put his shoe on. He said, by NBA rules, he can't hold up a game to let somebody put their shoes back on. He's got to inbound the ball.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to be mean. No. That's what some people were thinking here in Atlanta. West, out front. 6:38 to go in the half. Spurs by 3. Johnson. Joe Johnson coming off a 20.8 rebound game against the T-Wolves, and in his last 8 has averaged 27. He's had 4 30-plus games in that stretch, so he's a guy you really got to keep an eye on.
He tortured the Boston Celtics in the playoffs last year. They had no answer for him. Almost single-handedly won that series.
The double team Ime Udoka. Spurs basketball on the side as Parker returns for the Spurs and Coach Pop, and Mason takes the seat. Let's go back and take a look at Bibby, who's on the floor now. Catch where that Matt Bonner, I think, may have gotten him on the foul.
Right there.
Yep. Certainly unintentional. Udoka with the miss. West with the rebound. Hawks can take the lead.
And they had Josh Smith for an alley-oop.
Joe Johnson, former Razorback, with the miss. The rebound comes off to Michael Finley. Physical play underneath.
Well, I like that because we have guys that can play physical style with Gooden and Kurt Thomas.
Spurs 21 and 13 on the road. Going against one of the better home teams in the league, and the Hawks at 28 and 7. 4 on the clock. Parker got stripped, and West will get it done.
Tony put in a tough spot there. He's almost at half court. The shot clock running down. He has to create something, and West takes advantage of a miscue, goes the other way.
10 on the shot clock as Tony glances up. On the drive, in the paint, returns the favor.
Take that one. I know you got to strip. What's the old saying? A blind squirrel finds a nut.
Good foul there as Smith was going up for the dunk. And we'll take a break. Tony Parker comes right back at the Hawks.
This is how you redeem yourself. Start shaking and baking. Beautiful spin move. Taking him to the rack.
The Spurs have gotten back into first for the moment with the win against Golden State, while Houston lost at Utah last night. A half-game lead in the Southwest. That loss column certainly important, with the Spurs having 2 games there. New Orleans, who the Spurs are going to see on Sunday night down in Nolans, just a game and a half back. And Dallas is still holding on to that number 8 spot as far as the playoffs are concerned. And Phoenix is starting to put together a little streak.
They are.
They just may threaten Dallas.
Yeah, they just may. It depends on the Mavericks. If the Mavericks implode, which is likely, or which is possible, I should say, well then, lo and behold, the Phoenix Suns might sneak in there. But either way, it's a moot point. I mean, you're playing the Lakers in the first round. Both those teams nowhere near as good as the Lakers. So basically, they're fighting for an extra week and a half or 2 weeks of basketball.
And Phoenix has won 5 in a row. And Smith hits the bucket here. They're playing Utah tonight in Phoenix. And Phoenix is just in a position where they almost have to win every game. But you sort of got to win all their home games.
Yeah, well, after, Dallas went into Phoenix and won that ball game. I think they came out and they figured that Phoenix would have to go 16-2 or 16-3 the rest of the way, and Dallas would have to go 8-8 or 8-9 for Phoenix to slip into the playoffs. You said it, Phoenix has been playing much better basketball because they're a lot looser.
Tony Parker breaks the first tie of the night with the jumper, and TP, another solid performance. 14 points already on 7 of 10 shooting. Solid. Heck, that's outstanding, with 3 assists to boot for Tony. And the Spurs back up by a pair, 4:23 to go. On the run, in the lane. Shot is good by Al Horford. And by the way, every time you play the Hawks, you wonder about the Texas connections, and certainly we've seen Mo Evans as Parker inside delivers to Drew Gooden. AC Law, the former Texas A&M great, is inactive tonight. He's had some back pains that have kept him out of the last couple of games, averaging just 3 points, 3 rebound, and assist in his second year.
Oh, that last play, we've seen that play tons of times throughout this year. The little backdoor play to Tony Parker. But the Spurs haven't had the correct spacing on it in the last couple weeks, and that time Tony had to drop it off to Drew Gooden.
Bibby, boy, very rarely when he gets 2 good looks like that is he going to miss them both. Parker coming right back at him, just relentless. He's got Horford now.
I'm worried for some of those big guys. They're going to strain a groin or something trying to guard Tony out there.
And now he goes to Gooden against Smith, and he draws the foul for 2 shots. Tim Duncan like.
I was about to say, that's the old Timmy Duncan move. It's great footwork there by Drew Gooden. And as soon as he realizes that that hand is in his path, that arm by Josh Smith, instead of keeping his hands up, his hands are down. You bring your hands, your forearms right into his, and you're going to get that call, and that's vintage Tim Duncan.
Tim looks on. Drew Gooden, 8 points, 4 rebounds. 3 of 3 now from the free throw line for Gooden. As the Spurs up 3. Mario West comes out, and Maurice Evans checks back in. Evans split his college career. He ended, of course, at the University of Texas. Prior to that, he was at Wichita State. He was high school ball up in Wichita, Kansas. Evans, pretty serviceable player who was not drafted. He spent time in Minnesota, then he was in Greece and Italy, the Sacramento, Detroit, last year the Lakers in Orlando, and now here he is in Atlanta. He is their best three-point shooter by percentage. 7 on the clock. Joe Johnson. And Bonner wins the rebound battle. He and Gooden almost fought over it.
How about the job Matt Bonner, Drew Gooden, and Kurt Thomas are doing on the glass?
And Spurs hanging in there without Tim Duncan. Turn it over here. Smith to Joe Johnson. Bonner can't stop the 3.
Joe Johnson just so silky smooth. Again, you're not going to see this guy running and jumping over the top of you. But when you want a variety of moves and a soft jump shot, he's got that.
Johnson's got 13 as the game is tied for the 3rd time tonight. Michael Finley to Drew Gooden, and now back to Tony. 5 on the shot clock for Parker. Over Johnson. Oh, mama. High arch at 2. Thought he might have the 3, but the Spurs go back up by 2.
Well, Tony has that jump shot working tonight.
It was not easy. Johnson with a miss. Smith climbing the back of Bonner and then draws the foul on Matt.
That just shows you the athletic ability of Smith there. Matt has him boxed out, but it's a high ball, and Josh Smith can out-jump almost anybody in this league.
Like a pogo stick when he goes in there. How about this from Tony?
Now, when he has this working, forget about it. Joe Johnson's all over that shot, only to have it drop.
47-45, Spurs by 2, 2:02 remaining in the half. Hey, Spurs fans, it's the McDonald's timeout, so take a break. Text McCafe to 50927 for a buy one, get one free McCafe coffee or hot chocolate. Standard text rates apply. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Bill Land, Sean Elliott here at Phillips Arena with the Spurs with a lead of 2. We're updating you on injuries. I mentioned AC Law. The Hawks also, Speedy Claxton has had the knee injury and been out basically 2 seasons. And they're missing Marvin Williams, another very talented young player.
It's his back, isn't it?
Yeah, and he averages 14.6 rebounds. So, I mean, the Spurs aren't shedding tears for anybody with injuries, obviously, but it just shows you that the Hawks have got a deep, good young team.
Oh, there's no question about it, and that's what we talked about with Dominique Wilkins at the beginning of the telecast. You know, don't go ahead and start making all kinds of major moves. You have your core players in place. You need some role players around all this talent. You just let your team develop and grow a little bit, you're going to be just fine.
And as for the Spurs, Malik Hairston has been designated back to the D-League Austin Toros, as Malik saw his playing time diminish with the acquisition of Drew Gooden. And as a result, the Spurs want to keep him active because he has certainly shown him something with his action so far as a Spur. So Josh Smith at the free throw line. 47-45, he'll get another here. And Smith, just 57% from the line this season. Gets 1 of 2 here.
57%?
Yeah, and he's a 70% career-wise. Just could have been a struggle this season. Roger Mason scrambles after it. Back out to Tony now with 8 on the shot clock. Mason.
Great ball.
Finley. And the rebound comes off to Horford. Quickly, Atlanta the other way. Jiggles out, and here comes Tony again. 1:26 remaining in the half. Kurt Thomas from Parker. Put that on the board.
How about that?
Set him up so easily, didn't he?
Oh, they're making Mike Bibby work like a dog. I mean, they're running him off screens. He's going over, under, doing whatever you can do to stay in front of Tony Parker. But when he finally needs help, Tony drops it off to wide open Kurt Thomas.
Come back to Johnson, their leading scorer. He and Murray with 13 each. Murray getting it done in 9 minutes of work. Horford draws the foul. Will go to the line for a pair as it is on Kurt Thomas. And Fabricio Oberto will come on for the Spurs now. For the veteran Thomas, that is his first foul of the night. There's Fabricio. 3 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist against the Warriors last night. Horford gets this one to fall as Horford, part of that Florida contingent that went back-to-back national championships. And Horford going to be a heck of a player.
Yes, he is.
He had 21 points, 22 rebounds against Miami, February 27th. That was the first 20-20 game for Atlanta since Dikembe Mutombo's days.
How about that? And he's not even that big. I mean, yeah, he's 6'9" or 6'10", but normally you see guys getting 20 rebound games. They're 7-footers.
Parker strokes it right in the face of Al Horford, and as a result, Tony puts the Spurs up 3, and Parker now with 18 here in the half, 8 in the quarter. Johnson the miss.
You see Tony Parker going off like that, you know the Spurs have a very real shot of pulling this game out.
Got it going tonight. Tony is 9 of 12 from the floor, 5 assists. Here's Bibby. 5-second differential. Shot clock and game clock. Shot clock now at 9. Bibby working the screen, short in the jumper. Spurs should get a shot. Parker, 5 seconds to go. Tony, all the way to the hole.
Let's go.
Count that one, too. Tony Parker blown by Horford, and the Spurs get it with 1.8 to play. Bibby, and that ends the first half. Great effort by the Spurs with the big fella with the sport coat on tonight. And Manu's return, and so far so good. An exciting first half. Spurs by 5.
Tony's burst of speed. I mean, right here, Horford is in the way of Mike Bibby. I mean, at this point for Al Horford, he can't be side by side with Bibby. He's got to recover to the paint area and try to wait on Tony Parker. Instead, he's trying to play him out there on the perimeter, and they both get burned.
And as a result, the Spurs have the lead here at intermission, 53-48 on Fox Sports Southwest. San Antonio Spurs basketball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Miller High Life. Triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. And by Nissan. When you need it most, Nissan delivers. For attractive lease and finance options, visit your Nissan dealer. All right, have a little fun for you. Remember last night in San Antonio, Manu not in uniform last night. They had the Kiss Cam at the AT&T Center, one of the highlights, right? And Manu saying to Jan Mahimi, watch out. Kiss Cam! Well, tonight they have it here at Phillips Arena. And Bruce Bowen, the next victim of Manu Ginobili.
I think Bruce enjoyed that.
Oh, I tell you what, great fun here in Atlanta.
The crowd went absolutely bananas. They loved it.
Yeah, they ate it up. Here is Johnson on the drive for the Hawks. And the miss, the rebound, out of bounds, Spurs basketball. Spurs come back to start the second half with Parker, Mason, Drew Gooden, Bonner, and Michael Finley. Top. And a big point is going to limit the minutes to Tim Duncan. Thus, he is sitting here tonight. And
looking dapper.
Yeah, and the Spurs,
must admit,
5-point lead over this very talented and athletic Atlanta Hawks team. And we were talking off the air. They haven't had that big momentum mover yet that's gotten the crowd into it like that. Horford with the block on Gooden.
Now you know.
The Spurs have done a nice job of limiting their runs. Josh Smith taken away. Parker against Maurice Evans. Slips it inside. Bonner. Oh, just missed on the and one.
Matt Bonner doing a great job running the floor. The Spurs defense doing a great job collapsing on Josh Smith. He had nowhere to go underneath. Look at Tony Parker with a slick pass. Matt Bonner, he wants that one back.
Matt Bonner.
Bonner get a pair. So Matt, 72% on the season. 10-point game against the Warriors last night. And hits this one. Matt averaging 8 points a game. Just under 5 rebounds. He had 13 rebounds in the first meeting between these two, with the Spurs from 95-89. Now that game at San Antonio, and obviously Manu and Tim were playing as well. But the Spurs out-rebounded the Hawks 52-27. Wow. Just absolutely incredible. And tonight, of course, a little bit different story, but it's 21-17 Hawks on the board. Horford. Foul before the shot. And it's on Drew Gooden.
Oh, it's physical. It's getting awfully physical in that low block between Horford and Gooden, and also between Matt Bonner and Josh Smith.
Let's take a look at what's at stake for the Hawks. They're in the southeast. You see Atlanta 10.5 behind Orlando. The bigger picture as Horford drives and the foul is they are number 4 in the Eastern Conference and have a good chance of holding off Miami. Miami is the number 5 team. You see they have that 3.5 game lead.
Yeah.
Atlanta sitting at what, 28-7 here? They play Miami 4 versus 5.
Sure.
They'll need that home court.
Yeah, they are going to need that home court because Dwayne Wade, you figure he's going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
And Miami continues to just play amazingly well as Spurs sub here. Kurt Thomas comes on for Drew Gooden. Gooden picking up his 3rd foul there. Or bigger part, Bonner with the foul, but Gooden and Bonner with 3 each. Rebound comes off to Finley. Smith missing on the steal. Bonner couldn't make him pay. Horford with a rebound. Now to Joe Johnson. Johnson back it in against Finley. Bonner comes to help. Cross to Bibby. Over Parker. Good.
Oh, that's a tough shot there. Tremendous catch and shoot. Tony Parker was in his jersey.
Yeah, Bibby just nice and smooth. Got it off quickly.
Yeah, it looked like he just casually threw it up there.
Mike Bibby, who averages 14.9 and shoots 39% from the arc. Bibby with 7 points tonight. Parker against Horford. He is just torturing that guy.
Yes, he is. You look at Horford, all he could do is put his head down and shake his head. He got worn out on that one. A beautiful step back by Tony Parker. Hits nothing but the bottom.
Parker with 22. He's 11 of 14.
I'm telling you right now, next time they get switched off, Al Horford's going to be screaming for help. He doesn't want any more part of Tony.
Johnson the miss. The loose one. Matt Bonner picks it up. Michael Finley to Tony Parker. Pick and roll with Kurt Thomas.
Another switch. Horford is not liking any of this.
He's licking his lips as Kurt Thomas just misses, but he had a great look inside as Tony found it. Kick back to Bibby for three. Josh Smith with the assist, 57-55, and be careful because Bibby can be very streaky with that shooting.
No question about it. When he gets it going, it's tough to guard. He's one of those guys, again, that gets it going. The best thing you can do is keep the ball out of his hands.
Parker to Finley. Bibby going for the steal. Finn on the drive. Finds Roger Mason Jr. for the three. Great react by the Spurs as the Hawks gambled and the Spurs burned him.
How about Michael Finley, the effort? All he could do is knock the ball away. There's no way he could come down with it, knock it away, try to regain possession, and zip that pass to Roger Mason in the corner.
Roger now with 11 after his 24 last night. The Hawks heating up as Mo Evans hits the three, and it's 60-58. Evans averages 6.9 a game, but he's averaging 12 over the last 4 contests. And he's got 8 here tonight on 3 of 3 shooting. Mason, deep three, and the bottom again. Roger Mason Jr. stepping back a little.
I don't know who that is in the front row. Maybe it's his uncle or his cousin, but he stood up slapping his hip. Guy in a Spurs jersey in the front row, slapping his hip for him.
Bibby slips it inside, and Smith was fouled on the play.
Good foul there by Kurt Thomas. No way he's going to let Josh Smith get the crowd off their feet by putting that ball down with authority. But Roger Mason, he's got to be a solid 2 or 3 feet behind the three-point line, and Mo Evans gets caught napping.
Roger Mason having a career year here with the Spurs, and what a journey he has had through the NBA with Chicago, Toronto, and briefly over in Europe, and now Washington for 2 years. And the Spurs, after seeing him last year score 9 points a game in 80 games, and said a lot of people watching some of the commentators the other day are talking about nationally that say he might be the best free agent signee of anybody in the NBA this year.
Absolutely, because I think a lot of people went out and got the big names, and some of those guys haven't quite panned out. Roger flew in under the radar.
I mean, we all sometimes get a little carried away when we see him every night, but it's nice to hear those kind of accolades from national folks, particularly for such a great guy, besides a heck of a player.
Yeah, well, we'll see what he's done this year. I mean, you don't have Manu Ginobili at the start of the season. You need somebody to fill that void. Obviously, you can't replace Manu, but that's a good start.
How hot is he? Keep talking, Sean. He's loving it. Oh, man.
That was right in somebody's mouth, too. I think that was Josh Smith or Al Horford came out there with their mouth open.
Got a little bite of Roger Mason. Oh, and then a terrific drive the other way as the Hawks answer as Flip Murray continues to keep it going. He's got 15 now. Finley, and it's fallen from everywhere. Michael Finley a 42% three-point shooter. Finn's got 11 now.
Finn and Roger Mason are just raining three balls all over the Hawks. Tony Parker's picking them apart with his penetration. Those two devastating from the outside.
Rebound out of bounds to the Spurs. Spurs by 7 with 6:17 to go here in the third quarter. Spurs led by 6 at the quarter, 28-22, by 5 at the half, 53-48. 68-61 advantage here. Tony from Finley. Back out, Matt Bonner, 6 on the clock. Parker in the paint all the way. Got it to fall in as Tony Parker cutting him up again. 24 for Parker and a timeout Atlanta.
And I'm telling you right now, Al Horford's going to wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. He's just going to have visions of Tony blowing by him all night long, just staring at the back of his jersey.
Tony Parker, absolutely incredible tonight. 12 of 15 in shooting, and Mason getting in on the party.
Roger Mason, you can just tell what kind of game he's having by the amount of hip slaps. There's one right there. Tony Parker penetrating. Michael Finley left wide open. Have a couple guys for the Hawks and not reading the scouting report. And then watch the hesitation move. Tony Parker going all the way to the rim. Al Horford. Boy, turn him over. He's getting burned.
Spurs fans enjoying this one as the Spurs have their largest lead of 9, much of it due to Tony Parker, and he is the subject of our forward fact. We've talked about his consistency. Well, the longest active streaks are 20-plus point games consecutively. Dirk Nowitzki of the Mavericks at 13, Tony with 10, including tonight. Yeah, that's right. With 5:48 to go in the third quarter, Parker with 24 already. You see Joe Johnson, who's had 4 30-point games in that 8-game of 20-plus streak, also a red-hot player. Here is Bibby with a miss. Rebound, Smith. Flip Murray to Horford. No. They just bouncing around. Finally, Kurt Thomas comes up with it.
See, all those athletes, Smith and Horford, doing a terrific job going after those offensive boards, but Kurt Thomas there to take that one away.
Roger Mason. Somebody get a bucket of water, try to cool this guy off, as Roger Mason Jr. hit the last 3 shots. And as a result, the Spurs now double-digit lead for the first time on a 7-0 run. Mason with 18 points.
And you have Michael Finley, Roger Mason, and Tony Parker all with the hot hands.
Joe Johnson to stop that run of the Spurs makes it 72-63. And Joe Johnson now with 15 tonight. He's 6 of 14 from the floor. Spurs have really made him earn it. Another 3. This one won't go for Roger, but it bounces right back to Michael Finley.
Give it back to him, because I like that play. I mean, Al Horford is sitting way back on that screen and roll, and that's just a free jump shot. There's Horford again. Look at him. He wanted some help, and now he's just puzzled. He wanted somebody to help him out. He's about to get another taste.
Tony's the kick out. 4 on the clock. Mason having trouble hanging on, and Horford finally comes up with it. Leading the break to Bibby. Joe Johnson. That's some move by Johnson. Pop wants a timeout after that.
All right, good timeout there. Don't let them start any kind of momentum, get anything going. Call timeout, regroup, get a nice play coming out of the timeout, knock down another open jump shot or a 3-ball.
Spurs by 7. 72-65, San Antonio leading Atlanta here as Atlanta making a little run of their own. It's time for Nissan to get you in the game as the Spurs tonight getting that outside shooting going. Roger Mason with 4 or 5 this quarter.
Yeah, coming from everywhere. 2 or 3 feet behind the three-point line, stepping in off the dribble over the top of Horford. It doesn't matter.
Tonight's game summary brought to you by Nissan. Get in the game, get in a Titan as the Spurs break the huddle here. Bob wasn't happy with a couple of defensive things that he saw, I think.
No, he was mad about the help being late a few times in the paint area. But for the most part, I think he has to be pleased with his group's effort. I mean, really, these guys are exhausted. They're going out there with the mentality of, hey, we're here. We might as well try to win this ball game.
And the Spurs is Manu Ginobili. We saw him in the first half for 6.5 minutes, and he comes back here with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Spurs are shooting a blazing 61%. I mean, that's great, but Finley with a jumper can't hit here. You've got to figure they're going to cool off, and Atlanta's still sitting within striking distance.
Yeah, but maybe Atlanta cools off.
Yeah, Atlanta's shooting at 49%.
We can get that down to low 40s.
Smith. Rebound, Fabricio Berto. Parker brings it right back for the Spurs. Kurt Thomas. Great fake, couldn't knock down the open jumper.
Probably could have taken that ball all the way to the basket. Jaja Pachulia was the only one in front of him. He was on the opposite side of the lane.
Let's go, Hawks! Out of Pachulia. Flip Murray. Knocked away, but Smith gets it back, goes up, and we'll get an and one this time.
It's a score of 1-1 for Jay Spoon.
And 6 straight now for the Hawks to pull within 5.
Yeah, he's certainly athletic in the paint, and you can see by this second effort. Misses the dunk there and just stays with the play, and just an explosive player underneath, strong. Gets it that close to the basket more often than not. He's going to score the ball.
Josh Smith, after Oberto committing his first foul to the line. Smith, the youngest in the NBA to get to 800 blocks. It happened earlier this year, just 23 years old in his 5th year.
Oh, you got to work on those free throws. I'll tell you what, I mean, the guy who has that type of form, I wonder why he can shoot the ball that's so far off.
Shaking his head as he goes back on defense after that miss. Inside, Fab. Back out to Tony with 7 on the clock. Parker with Pachulia. Thomas for the jumper. Got it! Kurt Thomas with a 2. Everybody in the building thought Tony was going to take that with Pachulia on him, and he finds Kurt in the nick of time.
Yeah, he was getting ready to undress Zaza.
Smith, fouled by Kurt Thomas.
That's a good foul once again. And you saw the way he shot his last free throw. Foul him every time underneath.
So Kurt Thomas picks up the foul, and Smith back at the line. Hey, Spurs fans, ready for that Bud Light Sweet Night? Well, visit your local retail outlet and sign up for the Bud Light Sweet Night Sweepstakes, where you can win a sweet night to an upcoming Spurs home game. Visit Spurs.com for more details. 2:22 to go in the third quarter. Spurs and the Hawks. Hawks coming in 42-29 and having won 8 straight here at home. They are like a lot of young teams. When you go on the road, watch out. 14-22. But at home, they've been just absolutely amazing. And the Spurs have done a nice job so far. The crowd, kind of late arriving, but it's filled up pretty decent here now. And they haven't really gotten into it yet tonight.
You know, when you come to a Hawks game, normally you can expect to see the arena half full, or used to in the past. And it's nice to see an NBA team, this Hawks ball club, with an almost full capacity. It almost throws you off a little bit.
Yeah. Spurs turn it over. Bibby pushing it. Misses on the banker, and then Pachulia tripped up. Kurt Thomas and Josh Smith both went down, and then the foul's called on Fabricio Berto.
And they hit the floor hard. I mean, these guys are battling underneath. We talked about it being a physical ball game. Look at Fab trying to get around Pachulia to at least contest that shot. And there's Josh Smith falling on top of Kurt Thomas. Pachulia hits the floor. Bodies are all over the place.
And now there's some discussion as Pop said to Jack Nees, one of the officials, he said, Josh Smith is shooting. Jack Nees then checks with the other two, Gary Zielinski and Bob Delaney, and they're going, no, it was Pachulia that was fouled. I think the confusion is, where did that foul occur? Because all those bodies went down. And you called it on Fab. We're saying actually thought it was Fab's foul, but it was the reaction is what caused Pachulia to get tripped.
So we like the foul call.
Yeah, so we'll take
just missed that first one.
And Zaza, he's 72% on the year.
And that's why the officials get paid the big bucks. We'll sort all that stuff out.
He hits the second, and as a result, it's 74-70. 2 minutes to go in the third. Spurs with Parker on the bench for the moment, and then Mason turns it over. Udoka coming in the second. And one, Zaza.
That was a tremendous play by Flip Murray in the open court. First off, coming up with the steal, eluding the Spurs defenders with some fancy footwork and dropping that ball off to Pachulia, who's running the floor. And he has the faith and confidence to throw it to Pachulia, a big man on a dead run. Look at him thread the needle there. That's a big-time play by Flip Murray. And Pachulia, for that matter, to run the break, corral that pass, to even see that pass coming.
Zaza, 6'11", 275, his sixth year in the league. He's with Orlando and Milwaukee, and now in his fourth year here with the Hawks. Can't get the three-point play. Manu Ginobili with a rebound. Spurs lead once 11. And now at 2, Roger Mason. 10 on the shot clock. Giving up the dribble. Now gets it back. Off to Manu against Evans. For 3 from Ginobili. Fadeaway won't go. Fab rushing after it. And out of bounds to the Hawks.
Yeah, just a tough situation for Manu there. He's put in a tough spot. Catches the ball with about 5 or 6 seconds left on the shot clock.
Manu, sometimes give it to him with 8 or 9, and then he can do his thing. He can get his stuff going then.
Particularly because he just got back in the ball game as well. He's not even loose.
Horford pops over Roberto. Rebound comes off to Ime Udoka. Udoka comes up with his second rebound of the night. Get the score tonight. Here is Roger Mason Jr. We're inside a final minute of the third. Now to Ginobili. Oh, he was dishing right off to Mason. Roger. Udoka and the Spurs a little hectic here.
Yeah, somebody's got to control that basketball. I mean, that ball is going all over the place. Guys are just throwing. There are so many unorthodox passes at possession.
Murray, a rare brick, out of bounds. Spurs basketball with 36 seconds remaining.
I'm shocked. We're in Atlanta and there's a crowd, and they're into this game.
Yeah, it's like, where are we?
Yeah.
All right, Spurs 2 for 1.
Oh, absolutely, go 2 for 1 here.
Mason
close out this quarter in style.
Thomas pass deflected. And now with 28 seconds to go.
No, it hampers you unless you get something right off the first pass shot. If you don't, you might as well run the clock down.
Kurt!
Pop trying to get the attention of Kurt Thomas as the Spurs signal for the play here. 28.5 seconds, 16 on the shot clock. Ginobili on the drive. Kick out. Roger Mason. No. And out of play. And the Hawks will have it with the shot clock off. The Spurs just one of their last 8 now, so they have cooled off down to 56%.
Oh, Tony Parker's out of the ball game. The ball handling and really the playmaking has suffered a little bit. You don't have Tony out there dissecting the defense, finding guys who are wide open on the perimeter.
Mike Woodson knows how strong his club is here. 28-7 in Phillips Arena. And they've won their last 8 home games. And Utah got their 13th with a win over Houston last night. And Cleveland's only lost 1 home game all year since they're at 9.
They lost that one to the Lakers. And they lost at LA as well. So that tells you something.
Johnson, clock winding down, 8 seconds. Joe Johnson with 4 seconds. Michael Finley to inbounds here. Tied at 74. Manu Ginobili. And the foul by Evans. Second on Maurice Evans.
Well, how about this? 0.6 seconds left. You think the Spurs can get a shot off?
Let's see. We've done our homework now. We know you can catch and shoot, do we not?
Yes, we do.
A long discussion with Bob Delaney, and he straightened me out today. I really appreciate that. One of the better officials in the league. And talking about their whole situation. And Finley to Manu. Fires. Oh, that ball didn't get a chance to get to the rim, and I don't know if it was going to be an air ball or not. That thing even had a shot at the iron.
Yeah.
No. Okay. From our angle, it looked like they might have a case, but I don't think so. What do you think?
Let's take a look at it. I don't know. Hey,
well,
you know what? Stranger things have happened. Maybe that thing hits the rim a funny way, but I'm not going to start going off into the rules. I'm going to get another memo.
We've had enough of that. All right. Great call by the officials. 74-74, the best in all of professional sports. We'll be back here in Atlanta. Fourth quarter coming up. Welcome back. Even as we go to the fourth quarter, 74-74, the Spurs and the Atlanta Hawks. The Spurs, remember, led by 11 with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter and scored just 2 points the final 5 minutes. And Atlanta on a 13-2 run, and a chance to extend it as Tony Parker throws it out of bounds as he thought Fab was breaking to the corner.
That was a broken play there. Fab's supposed to break to the corner, and Manu Ginobili goes back door. Fab has to cut out to the corner to free up that space. Manu was waiting to go back door. He's trying to set up his man. That was interesting why, and I'm interested why Tony was throwing him the ball in the first place.
Take a look, see if Fab wasn't held here.
Yeah, he got held early on there, but you can see Manu stepping out to the top of the key. That play is really designed for him to go back door and get an easy one.
Foul on Ime Udoka, picks up his second quick. And the Spurs, the recipe to start the fourth quarter that you would anticipate. Flip Murray. Ime climbs a glass for the rebound, and Murray, hitting his first 3 shots, is now 7 of 11 overall. So still has 15 though in just 17 minutes. Manu weaving his way to the hole, couldn't quite finish as Horford a piece of it, and maybe Manu too.
We're going to see him in another 2 weeks where he's going to go up there and be able to finish that play once he gets his legs back.
Offensive foul. Joe Johnson, boy, great defense.
Outstanding there by Fab. As soon as Joe Johnson starts to head toward the half court, Fab just holds his position. Joe Johnson spins right back into him.
Johnson's second foul.
Joe Johnson acts like he's going to try to go back. There he is. Matt Bonner doing a terrific job also closing the door. They just had him in jail.
Spurs now need to get it going offensively. Manu. 8 on the clock. Gets Zaza Pachulia for 3. Udoka, great pass, Manu. And Udoka.
The high arcing pass.
That's right. Running a little bit different pattern coming underneath the basket to get that pass.
It's the old, it's the old pass disguised as a shot.
Murray, no good. Manu got shoved on the play.
Yeah, Mo Evans there. And Flip Murray starting to cool off, and he's taking 2 very tough shots here.
Third foul on Evans as Ginobili comes out.
Here it is. Manu's just saying, hey, Ime, that's for you.
Udoka gets his first bucket. So we'll see if Manu is done or not. Playing 12 minutes as he comes out. Just 1 of 7 from the floor. Obviously a little rusty, and you know he won't be happy until he is dominating once again.
Yeah, a little winded also.
Yeah.
There's no question.
But you said, Sean, there's just no way, no matter how many times you ride the bike, get in the pool, you got to play to get your conditioning, right?
Yeah, you get on all these treadmills underwater, run stairs, go on hikes, doesn't matter. You get out there moving side to side, jumping left and right, having to fight through some screens, you're going to be tired.
Bonner with a miss, Bibby with the miss, rebound, Finley. And the foul It's on Zaza. His second.
Hawks taking some terrible shots here, and I'm loving it. And 3 possessions in a row, just forcing shots up. Ill-advised shots.
And both teams have cooled off. We were talking about Spurs at 61 and the Hawks at 49. Well, now it's Spurs 54%. Hawks are 45%. 9:39 remaining in the basketball game. Parker with it out front. Again with Horford. Tony. Thing was everything but in for Tony Parker. He was 12 of 16 tonight. Joe Johnson, a little short, tip out. Tony Parker. Hawks hustle back. Drew Gooden setting up with Pachulia. Now the pick and roll. They come out with a double on Tony. Got by Bibby. Spins it up and in. He's playing into his hands, aren't you?
I'm telling you, Zaza Pachulia and Mike Bibby are out in their half court. Once Tony Parker beats both of them, you have numbers on the backside. Tony goes all the way to the basket.
Chased him.
No, you can't chase him out there. When you're trying to double team him, just make sure that his man, Mike Bibby, gets back in front, and then Pachulia should get back to his man. Don't try to chase and corral Tony Parker in your half court. You're playing with fire.
Pachulia wanted the call, didn't get it. Shot clock expires. Matt Bonner. There's your rule of verticality, keeping those arms straight
exactly
up.
Right. Let Pachulia create the contact. There's no call there. Good no call. Pachulia throws up a couple bricks. There's Tony Parker. Look at Pachulia. He's out of this play. So is Bibby. But Tony Parker goes all the way, abusing the Atlanta Hawks defense once again.
78-74 Spurs with 8:35 remaining. Hey, don't miss our Astros season preview show. See how the year shapes up for Berkman and the boys as the Astros try to bring an NL Central title and more to Houston. Get a jump on the 2009 season with our Houston Astros season preview show Sunday at 6 p.m. only on Fox Sports Southwest. An announcement brought to you by our director, Mike Piccirillo, Mr. Astro himself. Tony Parker, Drew Gooden back on the floor with Michael Finley, Ime Udoka, and Matt Bonner. The Spurs 2 of 6 to start this quarter, and Atlanta 0 of 6. And the Spurs with Parker blistering them again, and Tony now with 28.
How about that? You just called play coming out of the timeout. Just give the ball to Tony. Everybody space the floor. Let him take Joe Johnson and drop him off.
Johnson counters here. The Spurs a 6-0 run to start the quarter, and Johnson gets their first bucket, and it's 80-76 as the Spurs held them scoreless for over 3.5 minutes. Parker now. No less.
I mean, I'm just puzzled. These guys don't watch game film at all. I mean, Tony just lulls Smith to sleep, and there he is, catching the ball off the glass. He's too late once again. I mean, every time Tony Parker looks like he's going to let up and bring the ball back out, guys start straightening up. They don't bend their knees anymore, and Tony Parker burns them. Parker,
remember February when he had the 37 against Dallas and then responded with the 39 against Portland in the next game. Now Tony, 30 last night against the Warriors, 30 tonight here on the back-to-back in Atlanta.
52 for 40. Looking for Horford.
Fires, can't get it. And the rebound off to Bibby. Outlet, Horford. Spurs hustle back. Johnson in the paint. And one.
This is scoring one more for Joe Johnson.
That's how Joe Johnson scores. You haven't seen one play where he's gone above the rim, thrown one down, like LeBron or Dwayne Wade, any of those guys, scoring a lot of points. He gets these little floaters. He shoots 3 balls. He gets layups. Next thing you know, you look up, the guy's got 20, 25 points. Just super smooth.
And Johnson has had 10 30-point games this year. And Johnson with 24 tonight now.
He just proves that you can play below the rim in this league and still be a star.
82-79. Bonner. Matt gained control there. Looked like he was a bit indecisive as he went up.
Well, Josh Smith helped him out. He gambled the entire time on the defensive end. Didn't play solid defense once.
84-81 as Joe Johnson. 11 of 20 from the floor. He's got 26, Murray 15, and Bibby 10. Spurs led by Parker's 30, Mason 18, and Finley 11. Tony. Back out, gets it again. 6 on the clock. Joe Johnson. Parker scores again! Oh, mama! Tony Parker leaned in, got off with the glass and scored.
I can't figure Joe Johnson out. I mean, he's out there on the floor, way out in the perimeter, gambling with Tony Parker, reaching for the ball instead of moving his feet. Unbelievable to watch. These guys just getting dissected by Tony Parker, not learning their lesson one time.
Horford over Gooden. A rebound to Matt Bonner. Bonner's 5th board to go with his half dozen points. 5:43 to go. Spurs by 5. Johnson again on Tony Parker. Tony. And the foul on Joe Johnson.
They just have no answer whatsoever for him. They're relying on one-on-one defense on the perimeter. And even then, you should try your best to contain the man. Don't start reaching with Tony Parker. Otherwise, he's going to eat you alive. And watch Joe Johnson. He reaches there. Tony Parker crosses him over and takes the entire Hawks defense to the rack.
86-81. Spurs fans being treated to a dandy here. And what's ahead for the Spurs? Well, it's back and forth. Home Friday for the Clippers on My 35 on our Aaron's upcoming schedule. And then Sunday at New Orleans. You see it here on Fox Sports Southwest. And then Tuesday back in San Antonio, Oklahoma City. Spurs owe them one after the Thunder knocked them off recently in OKC. Now, Tony Parker, you want to demonstrate here the mistake that Johnson is making.
Yeah, he reaches, and during the break, we had the perfect freeze right there. Right when he reaches, it throws him out of balance now. His head is forward, his weight is going backwards, and Tony Parker has him. You start reaching with guys in this league, you're going to be toast, and that's exactly what happens to Joe Johnson. Now he's behind the play, and Tony Parker takes 2 or 3 of his teammates to the rack just for good measure. You start reaching, you get out of balance, you can't recover, especially with a guy like Tony Parker. You're just asking to have 2 points dropped on you.
And now Tony at the free throw line as Parker swishes this one for his 33rd point on his first free throw attempt. The Spurs are 8 of 9 and the Hawks 13 of 21. So the Hawks really concentrate inside, and Tony gets them both and makes it 88-81.
Let's go, Hawks!
Bibby. Joe Johnson. Out of bounds, and the Spurs. Tell you what, Johnson is so tough to handle.
Well, that's a great
Nice
job by
job
Ime
there.
right there. He's forcing him toward the baseline, and Matt Bonner's the help guy. Matt Bonner's making it well known that he's going to help out on Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson trying to come up with something. Looked like he was going to try to throw a cross-court pass. Tries to take the ball to the basket and loses it. Just tremendous defense by Ime and great help defense by Matt Bonner.
See the forward score by quarters here as Spurs a 7-point edge so far here. Parker, no. And the rebound comes off to the Hawks. Tony, 16 of 22, 34 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists for Parker. Horford. Michael Finley. Well, the Spurs are doing a great job of just mass rebounding.
Yeah, absolutely. Gang rebounding. Matt Bonner doing a terrific job keeping Smith off the glass that time. Michael Finley's able to come in there and corral that rebound.
Parker coming off the screen and now flips it back to Matt Bonner. Knocks it down for the deuce.
I got to tell you, I'm just thrilled with what Pop is doing with this offense right now. Basically, he's giving the ball to Tony Parker. He's saying, go out there and win this ball game. Tony's using every tool that he has out there. He has Matt Bonner that time wide open. That takes pressure off of him. Other than that, he's taking the ball to the basket.
Johnson, the leaner in the paint. And again, how many times does this shot just crawl over the iron? And Johnson Johnson, a 28-point show. Seven-point game.
See, everything right now is going through Tony. If you want to run another play, it's basically a decoy. Tony Parker's the first option, and everybody else have to fend for themselves, basically.
Finley. Smith hanging on it. Off the iron. Bonner, the big rebound. And the Spurs back out to Tony Parker with 3:30 to go. And Pop wants a timeout. As the Spurs, without Tim Duncan tonight, and a minute-managed return of Manu Ginobili, trying to knock off one of the top home teams in the league. Lead it by 7 with 3:28 to go. San Antonio Spurs basketball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. By your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Progressive, making insurance better. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Well, we mentioned the Hawks and how they go through Joe Johnson. Not spectacular, but wow, does he put up the numbers.
Yeah, that's why he's one of the more underrated guys in this league, because he isn't flashy, he isn't spectacular, he just gives you buckets. I mean, little hesitation move there, floater off the glass, move without the basketball, penetration, spin move up and under. Gets that one to fall, can step outside, shoot 3 balls. You haven't seen one play where he's gone over the top, slammed the basketball, anything spectacular. Again, did you look at his numbers? 28 points, 12 of 21, not bad numbers there.
Spurs led by Parker's 34. Johnson's 28 tops them. Horford's 13 rebounds tops in the game. Finley, swish for 2. Michael Finley. And the Spurs again. Pop with a timeout. You come out of the huddle, you run it to perfection.
It's a terrific use of a timeout. That's exactly what you need. Pop thought his offense was getting a little shaky out there. You call timeout, you set up something, you make sure everybody knows they're ready to execute. Michael Finley gets a couple screens, knocks down a tough jumper.
Joe Johnson answers. They're 5 of 13 this quarter shooting-wise. The Spurs have hit 6 of their last 9. Johnson with 11 points in the quarter. Parker on the way to the hole, and the foul as Tony almost got the and one with 2:46 to go. And as he goes to the line, I want to remind you about Bruce Bowen, and once again doing great things in the community. Bruce awarding scholarships to Hallmark College through their red, white, and blue IT program. If you're active military and interested in becoming a Microsoft certified professional, apply today for the Bruce Bowen Scholarship. Call Hallmark College today at 690-9000 or log on to Spurs.com, keyword Hallmark, for more information.
Bruce and I were standing outside of the hotel today, and a guy came up and asked me if we were brothers. So it doesn't just happen in San Antonio. I said, well, yeah, we're brothers, but we're not brothers.
I can only imagine. 94-85 as Tony Parker now with 36. Johnson against Udoka. Bonner with a rebound. 2.5 to go.
Run some clock here. I don't want to see a quick shot. Neither does Pop. Take some time off the clock.
Murray on Parker. Tony spots Thomas, and he is fouled.
That's a smart play there by Tony Parker, just mixing it up, and finds Kurt Thomas cutting to the basket with a little guy on his back. There's Kurt Thomas setting the screen. We talk about it all the time. How do you get open in this league? Set a screen for somebody else. Kurt Thomas doing a terrific job in that screen and roll.
Third foul on Flip Murray, and Kurt Thomas to the free throw line. Hits this one. Kurt Thomas, 82%. He had 14 in a row until he had those misses last night. Played against the Warriors, but he's got it back here this evening. And the Spurs up 11 now, 96-85 with 2:13 to go. The Hawks need to score in a hurry, and the Spurs want to milk that clock.
Yeah, and the Hawks right now don't have a sense of urgency. They just kind of go through the motions right now.
Joe Johnson kicks to Bibby. Now inside. Horford against Thomas. No. Bibby for 3. Wow. Mike Bibby.
Wow, that's an unbelievable shot there.
Bibby makes it 88 for the Hawks. He's got 13 on 5 of 13 shooting.
Take your time once again.
Murray trying to corral Parker. Horford shadowing him. 8 on the shot clock. Tony with the jumper. Rebound off to Bibby. Bibby underneath. Smith with the dunk. And that will get this crowd going again here in Atlanta.
Tony needs a little pressure release right there. Flip Murray's harassing him, and he's playing with fire because once Tony gets free out here, too far away from the basket, he's going to do exactly that.
And Parker draws the foul coming down the paint. Josh Smith not happy about it. He said he was moving, picks up his second foul.
And you have to try to pressure Tony Parker in the backcourt. Josh Smith stepping in there, but he's a little too late. And this is what happens. You're going to have Tony Parker one-on-one against a big. Once Murray got knocked off there, and the Spurs are going to be able to take advantage of that matchup.
Parker last night, 33 minutes in the Spurs 107-106 win, and went 33 and 10 assists. Tony, 38 minutes tonight. Took a big breath and a little break as he walked out to midcourt after that collision and hits the first to make it a 7-point game, 97-90. Tony will get another. And Parker, 6 of 6 from the line, and 38 points, 10 assists for Tony tonight.
His 40 is coming up next. It's right around the corner. I should know, I'm 41. That's not that far from 38 to 40. It happens pretty quickly.
I didn't know he was shooting for your age tonight. As the Spurs, timeout here, 109 to go, 98-90. We'll take a brief break. We'll be back with the finale. Tony Parker with 38, his third highest scoring effort of the season. Remember the 55 and the double OT at Minnesota, the incredible night there. 39 against Portland on February 25th. He's had 38 one other time in his career. That was in January of 06 at Miami. Bibby for 3 on the inbounds. A foul is called.
I think it's going to be a foul on Tony Parker, but it's only a one-shot foul. So thankfully, Bibby misses that 3.
It's the Spurs had a foul to give. And the steal by Finley on the inbounds.
How about that? Great hands by Michael Finley taking that ball away. And Tony gets an easy one.
Now there's your 40. One more for Sean's age. As Tony with 40, the Spurs by 10. The 3, no. Wow. Thomas the rebound.
Check that glass. Almost got shattered by that brick.
And Parker with it out front.
Might go for 42 here.
Hawks not going to foul, and the Spurs with a 10-point lead. And Parker to the bucket, got it again, and no call on that one. 42 for Tony Parker. As the Spurs, what a huge win they're going to get here in Atlanta tonight. Smith with the bucket.
You know what? I thought before this game that the Spurs had no business winning this ball game. And you look at just all the particulars. Getting in late at night, being stretched to the limit against Golden State at home. You spend a lot of energy trying to win that ball game down the stretch. You have an early start here in Atlanta. You have a young ball club trying to fight for position. They're relatively healthy. No Tim Duncan. And you're supposed to lose this game by 10 or 15 points.
Michael Finley with the clock winding down, rattles out. And that will do it. The Spurs stop the Hawks' 8-game home winning streak. And as a result, get a huge W. 47-24 on the year. Tony Parker, not enough words to describe him. 42 points, 18 of 25 from the floor, 6 of 6 from the line. 3 rebounds, 10 assists, and the Spurs hammer the Hawks in the fourth and win at 102-92. Sam Mitchell there coming out, giving congratulations to the Spurs. What a night here in Atlanta. Team effort, but no question, Tony Parker setting the pace throughout the night. And the Spurs win by 10. FSN and FS Spurs Live coming your direction here. Stay with us.